I'm gonna talk about this again. I do like a daily fast that I've been doing for a while, where I don't necessarily worry about what time I eat before I go to bed, um, but I'm trying to work on that. So let's say I eat at 8:30 and I go to bed at 9:30, 10 o'clock, and then I get up. I make sure I wait at least 12 hours before I eat again. So basically, if you do a fasting, the first 4 hours are just the anabolic phase where you're just kind of converting energy. So basically, this thing says it's a process where your body builds tissue and mainly muscle. During this time, your body is converting nutrients from the food into tissue growth. The pancreas produces insulin to support the process of moving glucose out of your bloodstream and turning excess sugar into fat. Okay, so the 4 to 16 hour window is where I'm usually at. So fasting 4 to 16 hours is called catabolic phase. And basically, let's see, what is their opinion on it? This phase occurs when your body has depleted the energy reserves from the fat you eat. It is characterized by the breakdown of larger molecules of stored energy into smaller energy molecules which are mobilized to fuel your cells. For people practicing the most common intermittent fasting protocols, your health benefits come from the process stimulated mainly in phase 2. So, it just kind of breaks it down. But basically, I think you start going into ketosis, and your body switches from sugar and glycols to using fat. So the anabolic process entails breaking down glycogen, stored glucose in the liver and muscles, as well as fat stored on your body. If you're consuming a high carb diet, the burning stage generally occurs during the 16-hour period. Alright, okay. So where was I at? I had to stop for a second. At 16 hours, if you're consuming a high carb diet, you won't start burning fat until the end of it. But if you eat a low carb, high fat diet, your body will already be in a ketogenic stage, blah, 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 blah. So basically, what it's saying here is, if you know you're going to do a fast to try and lose weight or, other benefits, switch from high carb to low carb, high fat. Autophagy, or autophagy, or however you want to pronounce it, means self-eating and refers to the process of cellular repair and renewal. Autophagy works by cleaning out misfolded proteins and damaged organelles, and by removing infectious bacteria like Mycobacterium, tuberculosis, Staphylococcus, mycotoxins, and herpes. Fasting, calorie restriction, and exercise all induce this vital process. Yet our modern lives are characterized by sitting still and eating too much and constantly. Disrupting autophagy can be a cause of a bevy of problems associated with abnormal cell growth, including diabetes, cancer, and infectious neurological diseases. Anyway, so if you're in that 16 to 8 hour window, you're really starting to burn the fat. You're starting the autophagy, and it starts to clean out stuff. So, one thing I noticed when I do my fasting, I did the first one that I really did was I did a 48-hour fast, and I noticed that I have inflammation in my legs where my socks are really tight. Okay, like almost like what do you call it? Edema. And that went away after my fast, and then it slowly came back. So it means that the foods I'm eating are causing inflammation. Now, what I have done since then is I just basically, if I eat at 8:30, I wait at least 12 hours before I eat. The problem with that is that you need to be at this 16-hour phase really to be burning the fat. So for me, eating every 12 hours or not eating for 12 hours is not really giving me any benefit. So I got to go longer. And I basically stick to a keto diet, and that's been difficult lately because I'm just so bored with it. But after a certain amount of time, you're going to burn everything up, but everybody's different. So for me, it took a 48-hour fast for me to see the differences. And I didn't really lose any weight either. That was another thing. I've been on the keto diet off and on. Basically, I've had, some screw ups and things like that, but for like a couple years. So, I was pretty close to 200 pounds. Right now I'm like 185. I was down to 165 for a while, and then I had my appendix removed, and after that, I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but after that I started to gain weight. And after the appendix, I was like very strict. But I was in the hospital. I had to eat like this other stuff that had like sugar in it. I was very strict before that. So, anyway. But after the 24 hours, they say that you start to produce a human growth hormone and some other stuff. So, and then some other stuff happens, and it starts to increase brain function. So increased BHB and BDNF and AMPK, adopectin, and Ghrelin, or which is Ghrelin, GHRELIN, which controls hunger. So you can look on the internet, and you're going to find everything's pretty much all going to look the same. Everybody's got a thing they've wrote up about this, and everybody seems to agree, and AI seems to agree. So they say 4 to 12 hours is stage 2 glycogenosis, or glycogenolysis begins breakdown of the glycogen for energy. Energy needs dictate glycogen expenditure. 12 to 48 hours, like this one's broken down a little differently. Transition on fat metabolism, autophagy activation, ketogenesis. And then 48 to 72 hours, body enters survival mode, burning fat exclusively. Now, what I understand, you can get into some trouble after the 48 to 72 hour thing when you break the fast. So they usually tell you to do something like eat an egg or something. When I did my 48-hour fast, I just had an egg, and then waited a little while and had something else. It was pretty brutal doing the 48-hour fast the first time, and I honestly don't have a desire to do more than that unless I have to. So, but anyway, it's an interesting topic, and there's lots of information out of there, and most of this isn't really mainstream. A lot of people don't really talk about it. It's on YouTube. There are people that talk about it, but it's not in the mainstream media. So we've been doing it for a while. So anyway, I'll catch you guys later.